Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Friday Ramblings. It is December 31st. That means it's New Year's Eve, and we are here to send out 2021 with a bang. Yep, before you go out and party, we want you to join us for a salute to finales. Not the finales you're thinking of. Nope, we're not talking about final movies and series. So let's be honest. In a world of reboots, remakes, long-delayed sequels, you can't ever really say movies are over. So it's like, hey, let's talk about TV series. We can talk about some of the best TV series finales ever. Except, then you gotta clarify, because it's like, well, yes, this was a series finale, but there was some spin-offs done afterwards. Like MASH. MASH is one of the most iconic, historically significant TV finales there is. But then they kept giving all the different characters their own spin-off shows. It was the end of MASH, but it wasn't the end of the MASH metaverse or expanded lore. They just kept going back to the well. And then you have these shows that they do sequel shows. Oh, the child actors are grown-ups, and we'll just bring everybody back where the parents are old as hell and the kids are adults, and doesn't anything end? I need an end. 2021 is ending. What about video games that have awesome ends? Does anything ever really end in video games, though? How about stuff with reboots and remakes? Oh god, don't make me talk about video game remakes. Oh, I hate you, Squaresoft. I hate you so much. I know technically you're called Square Enix, but oh god, don't make me. No, I refuse to. You can't make me. You can't make me talk about what they did. Wait. We can talk about the end. We can talk about lots of ends. Because the merry band of misfits at Marvel Comics decided they were going to release over the years here a series of one-shots and minis featuring the only thing that you can do in a shared universe. Nobody has to age because it's all on print concept like comics, and give us the closest thing we can ever have to the end of your favorite characters. Yep, that's right. We are talking about the meta series known as Marvel's The End. Now we're going to throw out a couple honorable mentions here. The base concept has been used in some books that have not been officially banded with the End banner. There was a Spider-Man Reign, Silver Surfer Requiem. I think there was one for Daredevil. Where'd I put those notes? Oh, Daredevil End of Days. So close. Almost there. They threw in an extra of days in there, but still, same base concept. But still, we've gotten a lot of books under this official The End banner. Oh yeah, the last Fantastic Four story, which is where we're going to start off with the End series, because there was also a Fantastic Four The End. They're the first family. They can have two finales. Why not? Specifically, the last Fantastic Four story is a one-shot, and Fantastic Four The End is a 6-issue limited series. but both concern the same basic idea, a final adventure for the fierce and fabulous foursome that lead the age as the first superhero team of Marvel's Golden and Glory Age. Well, not the Golden Age. Technically, they're Silver Age of comic heroes. But they are the first team of the modern age where Marvel went full-blown in on the superhero comics and in continuity are credited with basically creating the age of superheroes as a sub-society. It's a weird thing when you get into the internal universe reputation of the four. Let's just say that their reputation is they are awesome veterans. But yes, Fantastic Four, the end, dealt with an adventure in which Doctor Doom apparently perishes alongside the children of Reed Richards and Susan Storm Richards. Sometimes I use your maiden name, sometimes I don't. Just varies on the writer. Franklin and Valeria. And how the disappearance of the children caused a splintering of the team, only for them to reunite when it seems Sue finally finds enough clues and hints to point to their survival. Thus, the family comes together for a final happy ending that demonstrates once and for all, family never stays down and never abandons each other forever. We also have, I'm not going to get the plot summaries of every book because there's several in here. This is going to be, as I said, a quick rundown. I did want to discuss that one because it is a particularly strong Fantastic Four story. Some of these I'm going to highlight, some of these I'm not. But we have Iron Man the End, in which an aged and elderly Tony Stark finds himself too physically infirm to be Iron Man, let alone run his company, and therefore must find an heir apparent. Spider-Girl the End. Punisher the End, which is done under the Max imprint and features Punisher in a post-apocalyptic setting. The Wolverine the End miniseries, a Captain America the End one-shot, Captain Marvel, this being the current Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, as opposed to one of the other several people that have held it. I've always been partial to Gina Svell. I really wish they would do something else with the character. I mean, I get he's not most people's cup of tea, but you know, we're definitely going to do a Gina Svell episode sometime in the future. I'll save most of my stuff for that. But Captain Carol Danvers Marvel herself has had an end. Deadpool the End, Doctor Strange the End, Miles Morales the End, and Venom the End, which have all been one-shots. Most of your end stories are one-shots. As I said, a couple of them have been 6-issue minis. Wolverine, Fantastic Four. One of them, it's my particularly interesting one for me, is Marvel the End, which serves as both the end story for Thanos and Adam Warlock, while also featuring the end of the Marvel Universe as a whole. The basic idea of this is that Thanos discovers a cosmic artifact that puts the Infinity Stones to shame, aka the heart of the universe, and in the process of obtaining it and utilizing its power, discovers there is an inherent flaw in the universe and his own decisions about what to do with this knowledge. This is a classic Thanos Warlock story, written and penciled by Jim Starlin, who let's be honest, is the alpha and omega of Thanos and Adam Warlock. Next to the team of, God, I feel bad. I cannot remember their names off the top of my head real quick. Dan Abbott, and it's his partner. I always flip out on the names for. Give me 1 second. No, not Andy Lanning. Excuse me. I knew it started with an L. As I said, I didn't have all my notes organized perfectly there. Excuse me, but yeah, Abnett and Lanning, along with Jim Starlin. These three are pretty much the backbone of Marvel's entire cosmic history. Pretty much every significant story involving the spacefaring characters has sprung from one of these gentlemen's minds. Jim Starlin loves him some Thanos, and Adam Warlock loves these deep philosophical, metaphor, symbolic-laden stories, and Marvel the End balances that perfectly, reminding us that when it comes to Thanos, he may not have a lot of things that we would call morals or ethics, but he does have his own twisted honor code, and over the years he has achieved a more neutral alignment, quoting at one point to his on-again, off-again allies, I may want to conquer the universe. I may want to kill most living beings in the universe, but I'm opposed to the destruction of the universe. After all, I live in it too. Still, Marvel the End is a tour de force for people who like these kinds of stories. And is the only story that, despite what editorial has claimed in interviews, may possibly be in canon, as the events of it was referenced in Thanos' solo series that immediately preceded the Annihilation event that has ushered in our modern era of cosmic stories. So, do with that information what you will. There is one more, and it is the biggest story to discuss. It is one I have read, and it is a thing. A trilogy of 6-issue limited series brings us X-Men The End. Written by Chris Claremont, it is an epic in length to read. I mean, as I said, you're looking at 18 issues, heavily based on the then much more recent run of Grant Morrison's New X-Men and the concurrently released Extreme X-Men written by Chris Claremont. It is the final adventure of the students of Charles Xavier as they are confronted with a plot that is too epic and too destructive and too personal for them to deal with in a simple manner. People die, people live, the mutant race is put at risk, and when it's all said and done, the X-Men do what they have always done. Be heroes in a way that is just a little bit different from anything other Marvel teams, such as Fantastic Four, the Avengers, handle business, showing that what makes mutants different from other powered people isn't a simple matter of genetics, but the way they look at the world and the kind of stuff that they specialize in when it comes to preserving that which lives from that which wants to kill. The story, as I said, if you're a fan of that period of X-Men comics, in a lot of ways it is the ultimate send-off to that era of books. while also touching on concepts that Chris Claremont used in his original run in Marvel. Or not in Marvel, but in the X-Men books, the run that is often considered one of the greatest runs in comics for not just longevity, but, financial success. For those of you who are not super familiar, there was only one X-Men book at the time that Chris Claremont took over that had been floundering in sales and had just gotten a major shakeup in anticipation of Chris Claremont taking over with the one-shot giant-size X-Men written by Len Wein, an excellent writer as well, which set up Chris Claremont's run. Chris Claremont's run would become so popular that it would create what we still have today, which is the X-Men franchise of books. Chris spearheading the New Mutants and Excalibur spin-off books, as well as continuing to write X-Men for many years. So, as I said, working with concepts he developed back then, as well as concepts he introduced in his later Extreme X-Men run, along with ideas from Grant Morrison's New X-Men, which, is a thing. Chris Claremont takes 18 issues to tell a story ending an entire franchise of titles. Now, it's not that the story's bad, but frankly, I think it probably could have been done in half as many issues. Chris Claremont was known even at his best for taking time to slowly develop plots, and that can be both a good and a bad thing. So, I'm kind of iffy about this one. When it comes to stories that you can read without being really familiar with anything else the comics have done with the character, just know the basic idea of them, I have to give this to Peter David's Hulk the End one-shot, based on a prose novella, based on a pure text story that he wrote for a short story collection previously. Hulk the End shows what happens when Hulk is the last humanoid on Earth, discussing how things got to that point and how the Hulk Banner shared mind functions when there is no humans left to be angry at, when they only have each other. And a whole lot of irradiated bugs. A whole lot of irradiated bugs. Who will win? Will the scientist Banner finally gain full control of his body and forever banish the shame and guilt that is his anger given physical green skin form? Or will Hulk prove once and for all that he is the strongest he is? Hulk had often claimed, "All I want is to be alone." Well, Hulk, when the only voice you have left to talk to is puny Banner, you may have to face the facts that wishes are not often as great as we think they are. When there's the end, all you can do is come back to the beginning. As I said, with the exception of potentially and debatably Marvel the End, none of these books are actually considered part of the prime canon. These were alternate future realities that have been written off and on here and there over the years, basically whenever a writer has a really good story and Marvel gets behind the pitch, they put out the End book. Still, many of these are worth collecting. If you care about any of these characters, pick them up. I have read some of these and have never been disappointed with the stories. Some of them, like Punisher, the end, I don't care about the Punisher character. Like, I'm happy he exists within Marvel, in that he's a good, hey, things are really desperate. We need somebody that's going to survive and take out the enemy no matter what. And we really don't want to get the hands of people like Steve Rogers dirty. Yeah, you keep a guy like Punisher around for that. But I don't need to read a monthly solo book for the Punisher. I would be perfectly happy with him just showing up for big events and otherwise being referenced as still being around and doing his own thing. So I don't care about what his final adventure is. I'm sorry, I'm not the audience for that character. But from what I've read online, people that like the Punisher like the story. Same thing with Iron Man. I've not read Iron Man the end yet. I may read it one day, but to me, Iron Man always works best in team setting. I've tried reading a solo book under different writers over the years, and it never hooks me. Just something about the Iron Man character that I feel like he works best in a team setting. Has as of yet been no official Avengers the End book. There was a last Avengers story written, I think, oh god, where did I put that note? I think that was in the 90s. Do with that. 1995. So potentially, let's see, 2-issue prestige format. Was also written by Peter David. I have read that one. As I said, it's not part of the official The End bannering, but it was a story that served the same basic theme. It was released years before pretty much anything else on the list. I'm not going to say it created the whole idea for it, because there's always been in Marvel, or not always, but before the mid-90s, there had been stories in the regular books where we got peeks at alternate realities where the individual characters had finally fallen in battle, and how that went down and the effects on the rest of the world about that. But as I said, these books are released as set-aside stories, so they're a little easier to hunt down. As I said, a lot of them are one-shots, so you don't have to spend a ton of money gathering them together. You just buy the one shot, the one issue, and you read it, and you're happy. Still, as I said, these are stories about the end, but it is never truly the end, and that is what you are presented here now on New Year's Eve. 2021 is over, but 2022 is right around the corner. It is a new beginning, but I hope you will practice the old habit of watching the Friday Ramblings every week. I've got some great ideas for future discussions here in the new year. I hope to see you. Easiest way to make sure you don't miss any is subscribe and hit that notification bell, so you will know exactly when stuff is uploaded. You'll get your alert. For today, though, I'm off. I'm going to go have my own celebrations. And in the end, tomorrow will be a new beginning. Marvel's had the end. Roulette Productions will not end, though. So, see you in 7.